Hi, good morning. Today is January 2nd, 2025. What did I say would happen yesterday, actually? I said SPY or VOO, I follow VOO, same thing as S&P 500, will continue to hold the 538.50 and get rejected at the 545, 540s area. And exactly that. It got rejected right under 545 a share. And what else? Descending pattern, large volume spike, but it's still in a descending pattern overall, lower lows and lower highs. So, what did I do? I sold some shares. But look at my position. I still have 30 shares. I'll show you in a moment. So, this morning I've been buying at, roughly 530s. 538 was my average. And then I bought buying a bunch at about 540 where we are now. And then most of those shares that I bought, I made a little bit of profit, and then I sold this morning at 543 because I noticed we're very close to 545, and I didn't want to take the risk being overly invested at a high point when the market is showing weakness. And I was correct. I sold right about here at the peak of the second drop. Went to 538.50, that was the dip buy, and then now it's back to 540. My average is 540 from dollar cost averaging, up and down, buying, selling, and right now there's $16,208.55 within the 30 shares of VOO on my portfolio. I locked in I sold the 7K, or I sold $4,000 worth this morning, but that's only like a $20 day trade, or like 2-day swing trade. But, profit's better than losing money. You're making money, Looking at Dogecoin real quick, I'm only down 5%. I was down about 15-30%. I just held. I held through this drop over here. My average is 35. Held through this drop and kind of just dollar cost averaged. And only down 5%. But what's great is there's opportunity now. We have to see what VOO is going to do and what's going to happen with it. Because I believe this is where safe money is going. This is where a dip buy will happen. Even if I just saw a notification on my phone, in New York there was a mass shooting. 11 people killed or injured. That's awful. But I'm not surprised. Things are always going on, but I think they're just getting reported more and more in order to shift the market in the direction that it's going. So we seem to be holding that 538.50 area, which is good. But right now, we're getting rejected even at 540, 541. And right here, we blew past 541. Right here, tried to get 541 as a slight. Retailers tried to buy that, buy it up, and no, it didn't hold. What held? About a little bit under 540, maybe 539.50 is what actually happened. And then it says 539.78 here. Okay, 540 rejection, 541 rejection, 538.50 support buy, rejection, 540.20, 420. I'm still invested in this market because we don't know what it's going to do, but it's showing me weakness. But also, it's showing support at 538.50. So I took a little bit off the table, as you can see here. And where did that 4,000 go? Back to the buying power. Now we have $14,900, nearly $15,000 in buying power. And if this does go down, and when it does, I will be buying the dip. And I'll be making money on the way up. Yep, I believe I think we're gonna just form the base and hold it. I think this is the base. Um, they're a bit greedy in the market these days, and 538 to 560 or so. It's like 5%, 4 or 5%, and then they did it again, market manipulation, and they did again market manipulation right here, and we got rejected at 552 here, and then again at about 550. So we did make a higher high. So that tells me that this support here is not a total. There's a chance it can go up. Sorry, I hear some Middle Eastern woman going crazy on the phone. Yeah, it's probably nothing. They don't pay me enough for that. Okay, so what do we do now? Well, you have to look. It's holding 538.50, right? Even I would go all the way down to, I don't know why it doesn't register here, but like 535 it holding. If it doesn't hold, if we break 535, I think that's the lowest dip buy in the short term. And if it breaks that, or even if we break this, 538 going under like 535, that would be a bad sign that we're probably going into a bearish direction, because 535 right here, about 530, 531, 530 could be the the low, or a little bit above 530, but even then, that's only like 2% down from here. 2 minus 4, yeah, 2, 3%, 3.5% down from here, and if you kind of average down, maybe your average will be about 537, 535. And let's say that's 2.5 to 7. Quick maths. 7 minus 2.5. It's a 4.5% return on about 20 grand. Let's say 10 grand. Plus 4.5% is $450. So on 20 grand, that would be $900. That's pretty good. It's only 4.5%, but if you're doing it with a large chunk, it's nice money. But even if you're not, even if you have $200 plus 4.5%, still making $10. That's money you didn't have. We're only down 10% on the all-time. On the past year, we're up 25%. This is the last 3 months. 13. About 5% in the past month. Past week, we're down 2%. Could have been a whole lot worse than 2%. And many people aren't even flat on the day or up on the day right now, because the market's kind of, giving some stuff up. But this is down 2.5% on the month. How am I on the month? I'm up 5% on the month. Past week, 2.25, and I'm down a little bit less than 2.25. How? Because as you've been seeing me do it, when I get to in the short term overbought levels, when we're trading in a range kind of like we are now, or the stock is moving in a range, especially SPY, something that I trust a lot more than other things, and it listens to support and resistance a lot better, and trends, and the trend is your friend. You got to remember that. Follow the trend, and of course, look at the highs. The highs are just making lower highs, and there's lower lows. A low, and then there's a lower low. So we got to see this 541. It's probably going to go to about 541, 542, or it's going to get rejected under. And if it gets rejected under, that's also a pretty bad sign. But this just looks like manipulation. It's just sharp down, sharp up. Like, how does this? Where's this volume? This is not retail. It's too sharp. I mean, it could be, but definitely not this, and probably not this. But it doesn't matter. What matters is it's holding the 538.50. 538, it's holding about 530, 535. So we do have like a percent or two before a real support, but this is a pretty strong support for the short term compared to the 5% dip buy. And if we're not getting the 10% dip buy, something insane is not happening in the world. Well, it looks like, potentially it could. But if it's not, then the 5% is the dip buy where we are now. That's why I'm in. But I do like to even things out. I'm going to sell 2 shares here. Probably bought the 2 shares for about this price. That's okay. Yeah, I sold 2 shares at 540.40, and I bought at 540, 539.30, 540, 539.30, 539.20, 538.25, 4 shares. Another 4 shares at 540. Oh, I sold it at 541. Bought 10 at 540.33. So it's okay. I'm just trimming a tiny bit here. Made 20 something dollars. Profit though, profit. On this little swing trade, $5,000 I trimmed. So I would have had nearly 20K in here if I didn't do that. I'd have 20,000. But right now I have 15. And then in the buying power, I have 16. So what does that mean? I'm about 50% in cash, 50% in the market, into the S&P 500. And I do have a couple other things, like Tesla. And if you think Tesla's crashing, it's not. It's just extremely overbought like anything else. Peaked. Told you guys to be careful. Some of you did. Some of you saved your ass. Some of you didn't. Some of you are getting hurt. So we're at, maybe it's going to try to make a base at 380s. Maybe it will, but the real base is about, 360s. That's still another 10% down. And SPY going down another 1%, 2%. That's possible. Tesla would go down another 10% down too. QQQ as well. But I'm fine with that. It's not a big deal. Why? Because I'm prepared to buy the dip. And I know what I'm getting. I'm not getting, some nonsense. This is the Warren Buffett stock, Occidental Petroleum, and had a high of 2.5%. Now it's up nearly 2%. This is what Warren Buffett recently bought, and I'll buy a couple shares. What happened? I bought 4 shares. I sold half of them for about a 50-cent profit, 40-cent profit on 2 shares. Wow, I made $1. But I've still holding 2 shares, and just to kind of see, and wow, 3.25%. That ain't bad. Of course, that's because the Warren bought it, but yeah, this chart is not that pretty. But on the max, it's kind of pretty. It's not really that bad on the max. Just technical analysis, I'm like, it's really not that bad. We're about at this base here where it's bounced off before. Warren Buffett really does know what he's doing. This guy's not a billionaire for no reason. And this is basically a dip buy. Maybe they'll flush you out a little bit. But that's why I'm only putting it but this is crazy. This went from 700%. Obviously it's manipulated. This is shareholders, they just wanted to make some money, but are they going to do it again? But it could, but it seems like they could just pump it too. You don't really know what's going to go on. But that's why I only have 2 shares. I don't really know much, but I know it's like a petroleum company and whatnot. Some kid's like, "Hey, Dad, you closed the door on my head, bro." Hilarious. Today's return $50? No way. Okay. So when I sold that 1 share, I could have made an extra $1. Sold 2 shares at $540.40. But yeah, it's fluctuating, and it's trying to push up again to the 541 area. Looks like it's gonna go, about even is fine, but if it doesn't, get a large direction up and beat the 543 high of the day, the extreme, the 544 high of the day, but pretty much if it doesn't beat, 543 or so, if it's not like even with 543 or 544, it's not looking good. It's still pretty bearish because this is like the base right here in the morning, the 542. And as you can see here, it didn't even want to get close to 542. It's people are selling at 541 to be safe, and I think people are not just retail but big money so far is just being careful. So I'm gonna be careful too, but I'm not gonna fully get out of the market because that's silly. 539.86 is my new average. I would love a dip buy to, 530s, 530, 534, but I'm still okay with going back to 560 from 540 because 540 plus 3% or 4%, 540 plus 4% would take us back to the 560, and 560 and 60 cents or whatever, 4%, on 15 grand is still $600. But if I had 30, of course, it'd be 1,200. And if you lose 4%, 8%, same thing. If you lose 4%, you'll be down 600. You lose 8%, you'll be down, 1,200 in the short term. Or we don't know, but, hopefully it's short term. With VU, historically, max loss has been, until recovery of the same price on SPY or VU, has been about 3 to 4 years, insane Great Depression, all this stuff. But I think, we just had a COVID, which means, they can pull another one if they want. But 2021 and 2023, yeah, you were buying a dip for nearly 2 years if you bought at the top. And we're kind of at the top again here. And we don't know, but that's why you should always have cash on the table. Be very careful. But I guess I'm willing to swing trade at these highs and dollar cost average, but I should have no more than 10 grand in here, I believe, because we're still super high. Don't let this stuff fool you. But a dip buy around 520 seems a lot more viable. Yeah, about 525 I think is the dip buy. Hopefully we get there, about 520s. Hopefully we get there. That would be a good dip buy. What would that be? That would be about 522. Let's... be about a 7 to 8% move if you buy at 522. That'd be nice. 30 grand if I have a full position plus 7%, 2,100. That'd be great. But everyone has different risk tolerance, and you don't want to no one wants to overinvest because then you're stuck. You can't really lower your average too much, only accordance to your paycheck. And recently, I think I'm gonna go on a trip and spend a bit of money, maybe a couple thousand. Hopefully not, but probably. And because I don't travel, but this is going to be fun, so it's worth it. Got to experience life a little bit. So I trimmed the shares. I feel like I want to trim more shares. Money, patience in the market beats time in the market, time in the market. But time in the market does work sometimes. So let's get a little bit of Tesla on this dip buy. Quarter share. Still quite high, so I'll get like a 0.1, a little bit. So we got $38.45, dollar cost averaging. NVIDIA. What happened to NVIDIA? NVIDIA, I was kind of dollar cost averaging here. Got 2 shares at 135, or roughly 135, and then same price or so, a little bit cheaper. I got $27, and past 135. It's held at 135 actually, where I bought nearly at the support. And where is it now? It's up 2% roughly from there. So not bad. Apple. I was buying a tiny bit. I bought my last share at 222 in October 2024. That was a good buy. 170s. Gosh, if I held this, was buying Apple at 170s or 140s for a cool minutes. 130s, I remember those days, 2020. But okay, it's insane how close we are to the 220s. That's 15% away. That was nearly 5 years ago in 2020. That's insane. Right? How does it show in 2020? Maybe I was looking at it wrong. Yeah, I guess the highs are about 200. Gosh, 435, 45. Yeah, I mean, there's a decent amount of downside on a lot of things, even though things are a little bit down today. So I would be careful. But also, remember, no one knows where the market is going to go, is really going to go. So, dollar cost average. Amazon is up. Did I dollar cost average into that correctly? I bought some at 220, 226. 220, now it's 224. A couple dollars. If I just held my original positions at 185, 170s, be up massive as well. But that's okay. Palantir. Suppose the real dip buy is about 73. Average out 45. 2.1 shares. People speak crazy on this one. But had a huge run. I should probably wait for a dip buy closer to here, 72, but kind of missed it. It's all right. The 4% dip buy, gosh. So in a lot of things, it's very odd. So we're seeing bearishness, but also bullishness, right? Because I think things seem like they're bullish in the in the short term, but SPY is still overall bearish. It's the trick. This is the trick on retail investors. So 541.25. What did it say? Maybe it's just trying to chop up here. It said a dip by at 540. 540's holding. 540's holding. It could flush to lowest low. I mean, we did hit a lowest low of 538.27 December 31st. Yeah. We hit about 533 here. Right here, I don't know, about maybe probably 538, I think it hit. Or it was going to 537s, high 537. Then here we're kind of seeing if we're holding the 540 area, and it seems like we kind of are holding, but if we don't, you know, it's going to be ugly. Could get a nice flushy flush to 530. And that would be 2% down from here. Not that pretty. Negative 2% on 15K. Nice little negative 300. Not pretty. But I would be buying that dip heavily. And that's about it, guys. These are my plans. These are my buys. These are my sells. I've shown you guys full transparency. This is how much cash is earning interest. Lifetime interest paid. Okay, have a great day. Like, comment, subscribe. It's free. Watch my other videos, and if you want, watch the shorts too.